What up? This is a Stamina Sorcerer PvP build. Works very well in Battlegrounds and Cyrodiil. To work in Battlegrounds, I change absolutely nothing. I will post some gameplay to follow death matches and Chaos Ball. So this is an Imperial Stam Sorc to go through very quickly. I chose Race Imperial. Wood Elf is also good. I think Imperial is better. You can see the stats there. 30,000 health, 33 stamina. The weapon damage doesn't look terribly impressive, nor does the penetration or the recovery, and it doesn't matter. This build works very well. You'll be able to kill people fairly easily. You're very fast, mobile, and elusive, as opposed to tanky, and your healing is good as well. And you do hit pretty hard. I put all the points in stamina. You could arguably put 10 to 15 points into health if you felt you needed more health. Bewitched Sugar Skulls, we use a lot of magic. I go with Steed Mundus Stone. The health recovery stacks with sorcerer passives and the food, but it is kind of worthless. But I still use this because it's halved in PvP. I still use it for the speed because we stack speed on this build. Werewolf is irrelevant. I just happen to be a werewolf. I use tri-stat potions pretty much all the time. Use whatever potion you see fit. As far as gear, 5-piece Sword Singer on the front bar only, with a sharpened maul with a weapon damage enchantment. This gives you stamina, weapon damage, weapon critical, and if it was gold, I do not have gold jewelry, 600, or in my case 580, weapon damage to your two-handed abilities. All your two-handed abilities, including Rally, which I'll get to in a second. So 5-piece Sword Singer only on the front bar. Sharpened Maul, weapon damage enchant. Back bar, I do 2 Swift, all weapon damage, 1 Robust. You could change that to Infuse or Recovery if you felt the need. Swift, we are stacking on top of the Steed. We are also stacking 12%. It would be 7% each piece, so 12% or 14% if it was gold. A lot of speed on the build. Back bar, we go with Master's Dual Wield for stinging slashes, twin slashes. What is it called? Stinging slashes, yeah. So I go with 2 maces for the penetration, maul for the same reason. If you had sword, you could use swords. I think mace is probably better. And I go Nirnhoned on the main hand, sharpened on the backhand, and then double dot poisons or crown poisons. They're more or less the same. By the way, if you don't have Bewitched Sugar Skulls, you could use Crown Food. The health recovery is sort of irrelevant, and the difference in stats is only 200 per stat, so the difference is very small. Use Crown Food or Bewitched Sugar Skulls if you have access to that. The second 5-piece set is on the body, Daedric Trickery. This provides a lot of buffs, health, stamina, magic, and 1 random buff every 9 seconds that lasts for 21 seconds. So you can have as many as 3, typically on average 2 of these major buffs, which are Expedition, which again stacks with the Steed Mundus, and the Swift Jewelry for increased speed. Major Protection, Major Mending, Defense, Healing, Major Heroism, Crazy Ultimate Regeneration, and Vitality for also increased healing. So this helps to survivability with speed, healing, protection, damage mitigation, and then also your ultimates pop out a lot faster due to the heroism. And then the other set, I'm getting confused. Oh yes, 1-piece Balorgh just for the weapon damage. You could use whatever you wanted here. Trainee, a different monster set. You could go with Crag for penetration, recovery. I just went with additional weapon damage for more healing and damage. And then the other 1-piece is a mythic item, Snow Treaders, which provides, fitting in with our mobility, elusiveness motif theme here, gives you complete total 100% uptime to immunity to snares and immobilizations, but you cannot sprint in combat. But as you have seen, and there's even one more speed buff I haven't gone to yet, your non-sprinting baseline speed is very high, so not being able to sprint is not as big a deal as you might think, because you're already about 60% faster than normal. So things like talons, in case Templar Circle, anything that snares you does not snare you, anything that immobilizes you Fossilize, the second half of it, does not immobilize you. You can still be stunned, but you cannot be snared or immobilized, which I think is very strong. You can run around. You don't need a skill like Shuffle. You don't need any kind of snare immunity or snare removal, because this does it all for you. As far as the traits for the body or the armor, I have 4 impenetrable and 3 well fitted. We do not block very often or at all. We do dodge roll a lot, and we sprint and run. And the impenetrable obviously is nice to have increased critical resistance. I go with 3 heavy, 2 medium, and 2 light, which is sort of unusual. I kind of just wound up with that by accident. It seemed to work very well, and I've stuck with it because I don't really see the need to change it. You get a nice mix of all the passives from light, heavy, and medium with less of the downsides. You could obviously adjust that as you saw fit if you felt you wanted another medium piece and wanted to go with only 1 light piece. But we do use magic skills quite a bit, so having that extra light piece, which seems kind of strange, provides additional magic recovery, as well as, if you look at the passives, and I'm not even maxed out on this character, actually, as you can see, and it's still very effective. But you get this, reduced sprint cost reduction, recovery, and cost reduction for magic skills, a little bit of spell resistance. These things sort of don't matter. But you do get roll dodge cost reduction, and break free cost reduction, and bash cost reduction. So those things are nice to have from that additional 1 piece. Not a big deal. If you wanted to change a piece to an additional heavy piece or an additional medium piece, probably wouldn't make that much difference. That's it for the gear. I think I've covered everything. Skill-wise, fairly standard setup. You have an Executioner, Crit Surge for the healing primarily, Dizzy Swing as your spammable, Camo Hunter for the additional weapon damage as a fighter skill ability, for the constant major savagery, and for the minor berserk when you flank people. Finally, Rally is our burst heal on the front bar, providing minor endurance as well as major brutality. Important to note, the Sword Singer set buffs Executioner, Dizzy Swing, and your heal from Rally with 600 weapon damage. That's annoying me. So it does not buff these other 2 skills, but they're not, they're more here for passive bonuses as opposed to active damage abilities. Dawnbreaker is our ultimate. It does provide additional 3% weapon damage. As you can see, it's very cheap because of the Sorc passives. It's only 100 ultimate. Combine that with Major Heroism, pretty significant uptime from your Daedric Trickery set, and you will be able to Dawnbreak quite often. Your next ultimate is never that far away. You could use Onslaught here because Dawnbreaker is not buffed by Sword Singer. I just prefer Dawnbreaker. I think it's a better ultimate overall. It's also a little bit cheaper. Play around with it and choose whatever you think is best. On the back bar, this is important. In addition to the Steed Mundus Stone speed boost, the Swift Jewelry speed boost, and the Major Expedition speed boost from Daedric Trickery, we also have Minor Expedition pretty much 100% of the time from this skill. It also provides your armor buff and does constant damage, which always procs your Crit Surge in a nice AoE fashion. So this skill is very important and provides a lot of benefits. This is why we use the Master Dual Wield. It increases the damage of both the first hit, the second hit, and every dot tick. So this is a lot of pressure. Also snares the opponent. Resolving Vigor, obviously, I'll just show you the tooltip is about, I think, 18, almost 19,000. So Resolving Vigor is our main, we have Burst Heal here, we have Heal Over Time, and then, of course, Dark Deal. This is why we get away with a very low stamina recovery. This provides a heal as well as a burst of stamina and stamina return over time. And another reason we have a high magic pool, we have 20,000 magic, if you recall. So that helps feed into our stamina sustain whenever we need it. So this skill is mandatory. It's very, very good. It keeps us from running out of stamina. And then Streak provides it scales with stamina and weapon damage, and it provides an unblockable, undodgeable AoE stun, as well as doing some decent damage. It's very, very strong, and it also makes you much more mobile. You're already very fast. You can't be snared, you can't be immobilized, and you can teleport at will. So the typical combination that I would do would be, once everything is buffed up, You have these going for buffs, basically. See your enemy, streak into them, heavy attack into rending slashes, which applies that bleed plus your poison from your double dot poisons. Swap over, dizzy swing to execute range, dawnbreaker execute, depending on what the case may be. If you get into trouble, run away. You can't be snared or immobilized. You can see how we're pretty fast. You can also teleport. You can easily disengage from most fights at will if things are not going your way. The final skill is Greater Storm Atronach. I rarely use this. It's primarily here. It used to be here for the nice health recovery that would stack with the food and the where is it? The food and the Sorc passives and the Steed Mundus, but since they nerfed that, unfortunately, it's really just here for passive 20% stamina recovery. It is a good ultimate to have in a pinch, but I wind up using Dawnbreaker most of the time. You could replace this with any other ultimate of your choice, but it seems to be working for me for now. As far as champion points, nothing earth-shattering here either. I go with Rationer and Gifted Rider. You could probably go with Steed's Blessing. I like being able to harvest things quickly, and I don't have this maxed out, but that might be better off. It doesn't matter. This tree is not that important. My main pass is here. I go with 2 damage ones, Master at Arms and Deadly Aim, to buff all my direct damage attacks, which is pretty much well, not everything, but you had to make a choice. Thaumaturge would be nice, Biting Aura would be nice, but I think these are better. And then I go with 2 defensive ones. Since we don't use Major Evasion, we want Unassailable for some AoE damage reduction, which will reduce the damage of things like Jabs, Shocks, Blast Bone, Dawnbreaker, Leap, and then single target damage reduction as well. 2 offensive, 2 defensive. You know, these can be adjusted, and in Battlegrounds, they don't matter anyway. As far as the rest, fill in what you see fit. Stamina, Magicka, I would take Piercing over here first, and then I'd probably Quick Recovery and Blessed. Those are probably, and then this one, and this one, and this one are probably the most important. Preparation is nice for fighting guards and NPCs, and then fill in the rest as your points become available. For this, I go with Survival Instincts for cost reduction of all your core combat abilities, damage mitigation, recovery across the board, and then more health. You could perhaps use this as a substitute if you wanted to replace one of the other ones. And then the same deal. These are not so important on the right here because they're for blocking and I don't ever block. Take those last. The rest here are important, I would say. Hasty for speed, health, sprinting, dodge roll reduction, and defiance. This is nice to reduce the duration of status effects. And then some of these other ones I would take last if you have the points. And that is pretty much the build. Again, I will post videos of gameplay. It's really fun. It doesn't use Pariah or Vampire, Undeath passive. It's different. It's not tanky necessarily, although it does have 30,000 health, but it gets the job done. All right, thank you for watching. Please post any questions you may have in the comments. Thanks.